17 years ago, personally, I put a resume on a job board. I got a call with relocation the next day. So I was like, wow, this is great. So much better than the old days of newspaper ads, right? So in that literally, if you look back at the history of an ATS, you will see that that's kind of how this all progressed. When things started going global and people started posting jobs online, it changed the game. So you go back about 1999, I think is roughly the time when ATSs started coming out. I think it was around 94 when like Monster and the job boards came out. But 1999, the ATS essentially, as it first started, it started back then. But by 2005, they were getting, and it was so globalized and so understood that they were swamped. And I've seen stats as high as 250 to hundreds of applicants for a one job. You look at the odds in your favor and you go down to like 1% success rate. So if you're just applying, it's like, we'll get into here in a minute. It's like throwing out business cards. You might as well make them like a card deck, right? Just go spin and throw them out, hope one of them catches and someone picks it up and says, yeah, I'll do business with this guy, right? The 7 to 12 touch points we were talking about before. Just start whipping them out there like cards. Doesn't work, obviously. So back then, however, a few years later, roughly, I think around 2007, I made a one-word change in my LinkedIn profile. I got another job the next day. So I realized then that, wow, although I knew a resume wasn't working anymore, certainly on a job board, and just by itself doesn't work, when I saw that that one-word change could get noticed by a recruiter and I could get a job, I thought, wow, there's something here. So that kind of took on, its own little life. I started helping family, helping friends, and eventually clients, led to clients. So that was the whole job aspect of this. And I really started honing in on what does it take to get found by a recruiter? How can you pop? How can you sell yourself, your value, all of that? It's all kind of wrapped up in the jobs. But the point there, Greg, though, too, is, and we'll get into this in the presentation, it's so much more than a resume database. That kind of was the roots of LinkedIn, but it's so much more, as I'm sure you know, and I know you've had speakers on that talk about all the new functionality. You can't keep up with it. It's always changing. But then just for that same reason, there's B2B stats out there that say just like 97% of recruiters are going to check you out, 97% of the time people are using LinkedIn for leads, and it works for B2B. So think of that, 97% stats, it's real, and people will check you out, whether you're, it's for jobs or leads. They will be checking out your LinkedIn profile. They want to see, do I know, like, and trust this guy? What kind of content is he producing? What's his profile look like? What's his background? Just think about all that's there or could be there in your LinkedIn profile. So it's golden. It really is good stuff. But now the third aspect, the joy. You kind of look back, like for 2019, I gained quite a bit of followers, but really I wasn't after anything per se, not a job, not leads. I was really trying, I was already having leads and, clients that I was helping on the side, but I was trying to give back, honestly. And I think it came through. So sometimes you're just out there having joy. LinkedIn, again, it's back to the way the platform is nowadays. It's not just all about serious and resumes and jobs, or just lead, push the message. You can have fun, and you should, because again, it helps people to get to know, like, and trust you, doesn't it?
Right. You're speaking my language.
There you go.
Not about know, like, and trust you. So you're going to hone in on the profiles. Maybe talk a little bit more about the presentation to us.
Yeah, what I tell, whether it's a prospect or pretty much anybody, because it's on my profile if you dig into it, really LinkedIn to me comes down to three aspects. You've got settings to be seen, you've got your content to be searched and found, but then you've got what I call pop, to actually get selected and get engaged with and have people actually show up. So picture yourself, someone does a search. It's your ideal audience, whatever you're after, jobs or leads, let's say you're actually targeting something. They do a search, a big bunch of results comes up. Would you pick you? Would they pick you? Okay, from that list that shows up. So if so, you've made basically those two hurdles. Your settings obviously were there, because sometimes people have messed up corrupt settings. I've seen them actually go corrupt, that you wouldn't even make it into the searches. And I would say a lot of people, majority of people don't realize there are settings that will block you. You won't get to Google, but it's not even Google. You won't even show up on LinkedIn. It's what's referred to often as the all-star profile. There's more to it than that, but think of the all-star because that's a good indicator. If you've got one of the 7 pieces from an all-star profile missing, you won't even show up.
Mm.
Okay. 27 times, I think the stats is that you'll be less likely to even show up. Basically, you're invisible. But once you are, is it enough to get people to click on you? And then it's like an onion. Don't make them cry. Keep them peeling it, but don't make them cry. Will they keep opening up your profile? Will they keep saying, oh, I like this guy. Hey, he's someone I wouldn't mind knowing and maybe doing business with, or maybe hiring, maybe bringing in for an interview. Whatever your goal is, that should pop, pun intended. So that's what it's all about. You got settings, you've got content, and you got pop.